Hello, welcome to my YouTube video. This is Manny Soto, and today I'm gonna be showing you some matrices. I'm not sure if you've ever seen matrices, but let me show you. It's a really cool thing in math. It's a little different. Uh, if you notice my screen, we have a system of equations. Let me highlight it. Let me highlight the system. Um, what we have here is a system of equations. All this means is that this system is tightly coupled. What that means is that they are interdependent on each other. Um, if you graph them, um, there is a point where they intersect at a specific x and y point. So basically, they're not parallel lines, they're not perpendicular lines, and they do intersect. At what point do they intersect? You need to solve the values for the x and the y. But let's look at something a little bit funner. Um, let's look at how we can use matrices to find that x and y point where these two intersect. Let's begin with selecting a cool color for the pen. And let's create a matrix from this. A matrix, it looks like this. Look, let me show you. Look, you put like a square bracket, and then you only keep the coefficients. Like for the x, we have a 4 and 1, and for the y we have -3 and -2. And for your equal sign, you put yourself a dashed little line, and then you have your 8 and your 3. And that right there, this matrix here that we just created, it represents that system of equations. Let me show you how to solve it. Uh, there are three rules. One of them is that you can interchange any row. The other one is that you can multiply a number by a row. And the other one is that you can add two rows. So for instance, your goal is to get, let me highlight again. The goal is to get this number to be a 0 and this number to be a 0. Once you get those two numbers to be zeros, you're very close to getting the values of x and y, where these points intersect. So let me show you the first step. This is from, in case you're curious, this is from, I think they teach it in intermediate algebra and pre-calculus. So let's take what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna say because this is row 1 and this is row 2, and when you're talking about matrices, the values are rows, and the vertical ones are columns, and the horizontal are rows. So I'm gonna write row 2 I guess that's my symbol, replaces row 1. So basically, the 1, the -2, and the 3 move on up. And then the 4, the -2, no, the 4, the -3, and the 8 come down. So when you look at this, nothing should have changed. The only thing that changes is that the top row is now on the bottom. 4, -3, and 8, 1, -2, and 3. Okay, next step, we're trying to get this to be 0. The bottom left corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the new row 1 by a -4 and then add it to row 2. So I'm going to put -4 times row 1, and I'm going to add that to row 2. And this is gonna look a little weird because there's gonna be some math done in my head, but notice here that this answer is gonna go into row 2. Okay, so that means that row 1 stays as it is, 1, -2, and the 3, and then we multiply row 1. What is it? -4 times 1 plus 4, and that gives you a 0. And then -4 times -2, that's 8. 8 plus 3 gives you a 5. Let me make sure I did everything right. That's positive 8 minus 3, and that gives you a 5. Oh, look here. Look here. Um, I'm doing really bad today, but look at the sign on this guy. It is a positive. So before we go any further, let's correct this. This positive 3, it goes like that. And then there's our positive 3, okay? Really bad with the signs. Anyways, so we have, what is that? 8 plus 3 is 11. Oh. If my voice is getting confusing when I make mistakes and then correct them, just pause the video and look at it, and it'll make more sense. But anyways, it's just an introduction. So then we gotta do one more. -4 times 3, which is -12 plus 8, is -4. Okay. And if you notice, we got one of the zeros, so we're almost there. Now let's get this to be a 1. If we get this to be a 1 here, then we are done with row 2. So that's an easy one. We're gonna put, what is it? 1 over 11 times row 2, and put the answer in row 2. Okay, and I'm gonna switch colors, and okay, so our first row remains the same. It stays as a 1, -2, and a 3. But our row 2, we're multiplying it by 1 over 11. So 0 times 1 over 11 is 0. And 11 times 1 over 11 is 1. And -4 times 1 over 11 is -4 over 11. Okay, now there's only one thing that we gotta change. It may take several steps, but this needs to become a 0. And let me get my pen again. And the way to make that a 0, we can take 2 times row 2 and add that to row 1 and put the result in row 2. And okay, so row 2 is not gonna change. No. I meant put the result in row 1. Okay, so we take 2 times 0 plus 1 We get 1, and then we get 2 times 1 plus 2. So that's 2 minus 2 is 0. And then this one is 2. 2 times negative 14. So it's 2 times negative over 11. I don't know where that negative 14 came from. 2 times negative over 11 plus 3. And row 2 stays the same. 0, 1, negative 4 over 11. We put our dotted line and our huge brackets. Okay, this thing, I didn't want to do it on my head just really fast because it's a fraction being multiplied by a number without a denominator. So let's go ahead and get a denominator first. I'm gonna get the red pen so we could show the work of getting the denominator. The common denominator is just multiplied by 11 on the bottom and 11 on the top. And this will produce you, what is it? Let's continue, and I'll write the answer after we write everything else down. I'm just going to rewrite the matrix. So we have 0, 1, and we get negative 8 over 11 plus 33 over 11. And then this is 0, 1, and this is negative 4 over 11. I guess I should have rewritten it. Anyway, negative 8 plus 20 plus 33 is 25. So we go, we write our 1, 0. I forgot to put my dash lines there. And then we get a positive 25 over 11. And then you get your 0 and your 1 and your negative 4 over 11. And that there is the goal. And if this is your first time seeing a matrix, don't freak out. It becomes simple with practice, but it is I guess it is a headache the first time you see it. But this is what you always wanna see. This is an important thing. You'll see it forever if you take even advanced math. You wanna see a diagonal of ones, starting from the top left and zeros everywhere else, and that is the solution. So let me show you how to convert it back. Or we from looking at that, we know that let me actually show you. The original question, what is x and what is y? So on a matrix, like we have here, we have 0, 1, and 25 over 11. And then we have 0, 1, and negative 4 over 11. The first column represents x, the second one represents y. That dash line represents the equals, and those represent the numbers. So let's do something geeky. Let me do something geeky so you can do your first matrix multiplication. So we're gonna multiply the matrix. So we're gonna do a x. Well, I guess I'm not gonna do it yet. I'm not gonna do it yet because I don't want to confuse nobody. But I'll show you. I'll make you another video for matrix multiplication. But here you don't have to multiply it. by looking at it, you know that the first one is you have 1x plus 0y, which there's no need to write it, I'm just writing it for clarity, equals 25 over 11. And then the other one is 0x plus 1y equals negative 4 over 11. And this here basically yields, because that's a 0, you could just knock it out and you have x equals 25 over 11. And the same with x here. You have y equals negative 4 over 11. And this here yields a point on the Cartesian coordinate. 25 over 11 and negative 4 over 11. Let's use a calculator so we can see what that is. 25 over 11 is 2 point something. 2.27. And the other one, 4 over 11, 0.36. 2.27. So we have this point here that equals something like 2.27, and this other one negative 0.36, was it? Somewhere around there. So we have these two equations, and then when you draw the Cartesian plane, this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. This point is going to be somewhere around, where is it? 1, 2, 3, 1. So at x equals 2.7 and way before it gets 1. So there's your point right there. So I'm not sure how these equations look. I could do the math. Well, let's do the math of one of them. Let's take the what is it? The 4x plus 3y equals 8. So if you move the x to the other side, minus 4x, and then divide both sides by 3, you get y equal 8 over 3 minus 4 over 3 x. And the number in front of the x, when you have a y on the other side equal to, and its coefficient being a 1, that number is called the slope, represented by an m. So, and this is the y-intercept, meaning that when x equals 0, y is going to be 8 over 3. So what is 8 divided by 3? Something like 2 point something. 8 divided by 3. 2.666. So let's go and do that. Oof, minimize the wrong screen. So we have 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, and our point is there somewhere. And our other point, we don't even have to use the slope because we know where the other point is. So I'm gonna get a red pen to draw a line through it. Wish I had a ruler. Okay, so that's one of the lines. Now the other line, might as well do it, right? We're close. So the other point is gonna be what is it? X minus 2y equals 3. So subtract x, and divide by negative 2. And divide by negative 2. And then you get y equals negative 3 over 2 plus, what is it? Plus 1/2 x. So what's important here is the y-intercept, because we already know that it's going to cross through here. So let's go ahead and get our black pin. And we know that it's at negative 1.5 because 3 over 2 is 1.5. So negative 1, negative 2. So right in the middle. And then we get our green pin so we could see that other line. And that's basically how this thing looks. You start off with these two equations, solve for x and y. This was the end result. And you got this point right there, where those two lines intersect.